Hello everyone, today I'm going to walk you through how to use AI-BMT, starting from account creation to running evaluations and analyzing the results. First, go to AI-BMT.com. If you already have an account, simply log in. If not, click sign up. Enter your email address. I use AI-BMT example gmail.com and check your inbox for the verification code. And enter the code and send your password. And your personal AI-BMT account along with your own dedicated database will be created. So let me sign in. And after logging in, you can view your stored evaluation result under private results. Since this example uses a fresh account, there are no saved results yet. And go back to the main page and scroll down to the section for your operating systems. Since I'm on Windows, I use Windows and C++ example. Click the link to open the GitHub page and download the repository into your working folder. Since it's downloaded, we can open the project in Visual Studio, which is a recommended environment in Windows. And AI-BMT provides example codes showing how to run 1NX models on CPUs. If you want to run models on NPUs or GPUs, you can modify the pre-processing and inference code for your hardware. Here I will use an image classification as a demo example. And I recommend building in release mode for better performance. Let me build. And when build is finished, you can see that an application is created at current time. Since the build is completed successfully, run the generated executable. And AI-BMT automatically display the appropriate GUI based on the interface implemented in your code. In this case, it's image classification because past the interface implementation says that the interface type is image classification and the corresponding pre-processing and inference logic is for image classification. Therefore, AI-BMT knows that automatically this is for the image classification. Therefore, it shows the image classification GUI. To evaluate, first download the image classification dataset. When the zip file is downloaded, it will be automatically extracted by the application. After the extraction is finished, next download the models you want to benchmark. For this demo, I evaluate less than 50 1NX model. And then MobileNet V2, and then LegNet X400MF, and then LegNet Y400MF. Since all models are downloaded successfully, let's go back to the main tab and setting the evaluation options. In this demo, I will enable the double buffering and enable the warm-up and keep the dataset validation and database upload enabled and select the single stream scenario and set the number of epochs to 1. If you want to reuse the same configuration later, save your current setting. For example, I change the setting like this and save it. And if I start the program again, you have the same setting as the last setting. And for this demo, I will enable the double buffering and enabling warmup and keep data set validation and database upload enabled and select single stream. Yeah, like this. I will use this configuration. And this dataset validation is existing because we want to make sure that everyone evaluate under this official evaluation mode use the exactly same dataset that we provide. Of course, there are some custom dataset options that allow the evaluator use their custom dataset, but for the official evaluation mode, evaluator must use the same dataset as we provided. For example, if we change the data, for example this one, I will just copy it here, and if I change this, for example, if I change 1 pixel as the brighter value and then save it, and if I run the evaluation, now it displays this login page because we enabled the database upload option. Therefore, when the evaluation is finished, it automatically uploads the final evaluation result to the private database that is bound to this account. Just for showing how dataset validation works, I will just skip this option at this moment, and then let me run the evaluation and do the warm-up. No, I should use this dataset. Okay, and then when do the dataset validation, it says that one of the data is modified, therefore you cannot evaluate using this modified dataset. If I delete this modified image and use this image, the original image, and start evaluation, then the dataset validation is passed. And for example, if we modify the label like this, and if we run again, it will also can detect the label modification. So I will change it back to the original label. If I run, then the dataset validation is passed successfully. So I'll stop the evaluation. I will just keep the database upload enabled again, and then let me evaluate 4 models using the account that I just created. AI-BMT, example, gmail.com. Here I will evaluate 4 models at once, so I select 4 models and click this. Now that our evaluation is finished, if you wanna check the log messages, then you can save it, check it later. And since all data is uploaded to the database, we can go to the private result analysis tab. It doesn't require login because we already logged into the account for evaluation, and it will load the evaluation results stored in your personal database. And here you can copy the interested rows for external analysis, and you can, for example, go to the Excel paste it here, and you do further analysis by yourself. And it's also possible to export the entire table as a CSV. Yeah, I will save it to the demo folder, like results. The result CSV is created. I can check the result here, and you can do further analysis by yourself. And if you want to delete the data, then you can double click the specific row. Here I don't want to delete any data, so I will check the no. And each account can store up to 500 results, and when the limit is exceeded, the oldest entries are automatically deleted. And beyond that, you can select multiple results and move them to the statistics table here. And from there, click Export Statistics as CSV to download the statistical summaries. Save it as statistics. And you open it, and it will show the result from the selected data. And it will show statistical results such as mean, standard deviation, mean, Q1, median, Q3 max, and IQR, which is Q3 minus Q1. And all these evaluation results are categorized by the task and scenario. Since in this demo, we only have image classification and single stream, so it only shows image classification and single streams statistical result here. If we have a multiple task result or multiple scenario result, it will show separate statistical result for each task and scenario. And these values can be used to generate the box plots or other statistical visualizations. And if you want to refresh it, then you can click this read data from WAS, and it will load the data from the database again. And not only you can evaluate your result in this application, you can also evaluate your result in AI-BMT.com. Since your account is already logged in, I go to the private database analysis section, refresh it, they will load the data from the database, which is exactly same as this one. And here, AI-BMT also provides a retrieval augmented generation assistant. It retrieves relevant result and uses an internal LLM to answer your queries. For example, if you ask in single stream and classification, which model is the fastest? If I ask in this way, then it provides the answer for this question. And as you can see, it says that the fastest model is LegNet X400MF, and its latency is 9.49 millisecond. And let me check. Sample latency average, the fastest one is 9.49, and the model name is LegNet X400MF. So we can see that this leg system provided an accurate response for this question. Let me explain another feature in our AI-BMT, which is multitask evaluation. AI-BMT also supports evaluating multiple tasks in single run. For example, like this. And I also provide this LLM. Let me provide this one. And let me close the application and build again. As you can see, new executable is created, and let me execute it. As you can see, since you provide implementations for several tasks, image classification and object detection, semantic segmentation, or LLM. Therefore, the program will evaluate them sequentially. So before start the evaluation, you have to select the model for the task. You can select model for each task and then click, then it will evaluate each task sequentially and save the result to the database. For this multitask evaluation, I will only briefly introduce here like this, and you can try it yourself if you want to evaluate multiple tasks in single evaluation. And go back to the main page. For more details, refer to the user manual, but even without it, most users can simply follow the README for their operating system. For example, you are a Linux user for ARM architecture and you want to evaluate under the Python environment, then you click this one and go to the corresponding page and you check the README file, then you will know how to evaluate. So you can just refer to the user manual if you want to know all the features they will provide. If you don't have time, just reading the README file and follow the instruction, they will suffice for benchmarking. Thank you for watching this demo.